If you're a senior struggling to make ends meet each month, feeling overwhelmed by a pile of bills that seem to grow larger every time you open your mailbox, you need to hear this information. What I'm about to share with you could potentially save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars every year, and it's all completely legal. As someone who has lived through decades of economic changes, you deserve to know exactly which bills you're legally required to pay and which ones you can challenge, reduce, or even eliminate entirely. Consumer protection attorneys who specialize in senior rights have seen countless cases where older adults are paying for services, fees, and charges that they have every legal right to refuse or dispute. The unfortunate reality is that many companies specifically target seniors because they assume older adults will simply pay whatever bill arrives in the mail without questioning it. But here's what these companies don't want you to know. You have powerful legal protections, and there are specific types of charges that you absolutely do not have to pay. Legal experts in elder law explain that this isn't about avoiding legitimate debts or shirking financial responsibilities. This is about understanding your rights under federal and state consumer protection laws, many of which were specifically designed to protect people in your situation. The Federal Trade Commission, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and state attorney general offices have all issued guidelines that give seniors significant leverage when dealing with questionable charges and abusive billing practices. Before we dive into the specific types of bills you can legally refuse to pay, it's crucial to understand that this information comes from practicing attorneys who specialize in consumer protection and elder law. These aren't loopholes or schemes. These are legitimate legal protections that exist specifically to prevent companies from taking advantage of seniors on fixed incomes. However, it's always wise to consult with a local attorney if you have questions about your specific situation, especially if large amounts of money are involved. The first category of bills that consumer attorneys say you should never pay without challenging are what they call phantom charges from utility companies. These are fees that many seniors don't realize they can refuse or negotiate. For example, if your electric, gas, or phone company tries to charge you a service connection fee for routine maintenance or meter reading, you often have the right to dispute this charge. Elder law attorneys explain that utility companies frequently add mysterious fees to senior customers' bills, knowing that many older adults won't question them. Common examples include network access fees, system maintenance charges, or equipment upgrade fees that weren't clearly explained when you signed up for service. Under federal regulations, utility companies must provide clear, understandable explanations for all charges, and they cannot add new fees to your account without proper notification and your consent. Here's a practical example. If your phone company suddenly adds a $5 monthly line maintenance fee that wasn't in your original agreement, you have the legal right to demand an explanation and, in many cases, refuse to pay it. Consumer protection lawyers report that when seniors challenge these phantom charges, companies often remove them immediately rather than deal with the legal complications. The key is knowing how to challenge these charges properly. Attorneys recommend keeping detailed records of your original service agreements and calling the company's customer service department to demand a detailed explanation of any new or unexpected fees. If they cannot provide satisfactory documentation that you agreed to these charges, you can legally refuse to pay them. The second type of bill that legal experts say you can often avoid paying involves what are called negative option or automatic renewal charges. These are particularly common with magazine subscriptions, membership programs, and various services that automatically renew and charge your credit card or bank account without clear, ongoing consent. Consumer protection attorneys explain that, under federal law, companies cannot continue charging you for services after you've requested cancellation, even if they claim you didn't follow their specific cancellation procedures. This is especially important for seniors because many companies make their cancellation processes deliberately complicated, hoping you'll give up and continue paying. If you've tried to cancel a subscription or membership, but continue receiving bills, you have legal grounds to dispute these charges with your credit card company or bank. The Fair Credit Billing Act and the Electronic Fund Transfer Act provide specific protections that allow you to stop payments and even recover money that was charged after you attempted to cancel. Many seniors don't realize that they can contact their credit card company or bank and request a stop payment on any recurring charges they didn't specifically authorize for that billing period. This is different from disputing a charge after the fact. You're proactively preventing unauthorized charges from going through. The third category involves medical bills and healthcare-related charges that consumer attorneys say are frequently inflated or incorrectly billed. Medical billing advocates report that up to 80% of medical bills contain errors, and seniors are often charged for services they didn't receive or at rates higher than what was actually agreed upon with their insurance. Elder law attorneys emphasize that you have the legal right to request detailed explanations of all medical charges, and you cannot be required to pay for services that weren't provided or weren't medically necessary. If you receive a medical bill that seems unusually high or includes charges you don't understand, federal law requires healthcare providers to provide you with itemized explanations. Here's what many seniors don't know. If your doctor or hospital cannot provide clear documentation that a service was performed and was medically necessary, you may not be legally obligated to pay for it. Medical billing experts who work with seniors regularly help clients eliminate thousands of dollars in questionable medical charges simply by demanding proper documentation. Additionally, if you're on Medicare, there are specific billing rules that healthcare providers must follow. If a provider tries to charge you more than Medicare allows for a covered service, this is called balance billing, and it's illegal in most situations. Medicare advocates can help you identify and challenge these improper charges. The fourth type of bill that legal experts say you should scrutinize carefully involves debt collection notices, especially for old debts. Consumer protection attorneys explain that there are strict time limits, called statutes of limitations, on how long companies can legally pursue most types of debt. For many types of consumer debt, if more than 3 to 6 years have passed since your last payment, the debt may be legally time-barred, meaning you cannot, be sued for it. Debt collection lawyers who represent consumers report that many collection agencies deliberately target seniors with notices for very old debts, hoping that seniors will feel morally obligated to pay, regardless of the legal time limits. However, consumer protection laws are clear. If a debt is beyond the statute of limitations in your state, you have the legal right to refuse payment. This doesn't mean the debt disappears entirely, but it does mean that the collection agency cannot successfully sue you for payment. If you receive collection notices for debts that are several years old, attorneys recommend responding in writing to request verification of the debt and to state that you believe the statute of limitations has expired. It's important to note that making even a small payment on an old debt can restart the statute of limitations clock, so don't pay anything on old debts without consulting with a consumer protection attorney first. The fifth category involves subscription and membership fees that many seniors pay out of habit, even though they're no longer using the services. While these aren't technically illegal charges, consumer advocates point out that seniors often continue paying for gym memberships, magazine subscriptions, or service plans that they can legally cancel at any time. Many seniors assume that they're locked into annual contracts, or that canceling will be too difficult or expensive. However, consumer protection laws in most states give you the right to cancel most service contracts, especially if your circumstances have changed due to health issues, financial difficulties, or relocation. Consumer attorneys recommend reviewing all your recurring monthly charges at least twice a year and canceling anything you're not actively using. Companies cannot charge cancellation fees that are unreasonable or excessive, and many states have specific laws protecting seniors from predatory cancellation policies. The sixth category that elder law attorneys want seniors to understand involves insurance-related charges that may not be legally required. Many seniors receive bills from insurance companies for services that should have been covered under their existing policies, or they're charged for coverage they didn't request or don't need. Insurance law specialists explain that, under state insurance regulations, insurance companies cannot charge you for coverage that wasn't clearly disclosed and agreed upon. If your health, auto, or homeowner's insurance company adds new coverage or increases your premiums without proper notification and your explicit consent, you have the legal right to refuse these charges. A common example involves what insurance attorneys call add-on products, supplemental insurance policies that companies try to sell alongside your main coverage. These might include credit protection insurance, rental car coverage you don't need, or extended warranties that duplicate coverage you already have. If these were added to your account without your clear understanding and agreement, consumer protection laws allow you to cancel them and often receive refunds. Many seniors also don't realize that they can legally refuse to pay for insurance claim deductibles that were improperly applied. If your insurance company denies a claim or charges you a deductible that doesn't match your policy terms, state insurance commissioners have specific procedures for challenging these charges. Insurance advocates report that seniors often recover significant amounts of money simply by filing formal complaints with their state insurance department. The seventh category involves what consumer protection attorneys call cramming. Unauthorized charges that appear on your phone, cable, or internet bills. Federal communications law makes it illegal for companies to add services to your account without clear authorization. Yet telecommunications companies frequently slip additional charges onto seniors' bills. These might appear as charges for directory assistance you didn't use, premium text messaging services you didn't sign up for, or enhanced calling features you didn't request. The Federal Communications Commission has specific rules protecting consumers from these practices, and you have the legal right to demand removal of any charges you didn't explicitly authorize. Elder law attorneys recommend carefully reviewing your telecommunications bills each month because these unauthorized charges often start small, maybe $2 or $3 per month, in hopes that you won't notice them. Over time, these small charges can add up to hundreds of dollars annually. If you find charges you don't recognize, federal law requires the company to remove them, and often provide refunds for previous months. The eighth category that legal experts want seniors to know about involves property tax assessments and related municipal charges. While you cannot legally refuse to pay valid property taxes, tax attorneys explain that many seniors are overpaying because their property assessments are outdated or incorrect. Property tax lawyers who work with seniors report that many local tax assessments don't account for changes in property condition, neighborhood values, or special exemptions available to seniors. Most states offer property tax exemptions or reductions for seniors with limited incomes, disabled individuals, or veterans, but these benefits often aren't applied automatically. If your property taxes seem high compared to similar properties in your area, or if your home's condition has deteriorated due to age or maintenance issues, you have the legal right to challenge your assessment. Tax attorneys note that successful property tax appeals can reduce annual tax bills by hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Many states also offer what are called circuit breaker programs that limit property tax increases for seniors on fixed incomes. These programs can freeze your property taxes at current levels or limit annual increases to a small percentage, regardless of general property value increases in your area. The ninth category involves bank and financial institution, fees that consumer attorneys say are often waived for seniors but not automatically applied. Federal banking regulations require banks to clearly disclose all fees, and many banks offer senior-specific accounts with reduced or eliminated fees that aren't heavily promoted. Banking law specialists explain that fees for monthly maintenance, overdrafts, ATM usage, and check printing are often negotiable, especially for long-term customers or seniors with multiple accounts at the same institution. If you're being charged monthly maintenance fees on accounts that don't meet minimum balance requirements, many banks will waive these fees for seniors or convert your account to a senior-specific product with lower requirements. Consumer protection attorneys also point out that, under federal law, banks cannot charge overdraft fees on ATM or debit card transactions unless you specifically opt into overdraft coverage. Many seniors have this coverage without realizing they requested it, and you can legally remove this coverage at any time to avoid future overdraft charges. The 10th and final category involves what elder law attorneys call senior-targeted scams that masquerade as legitimate bills. These aren't actual bills you owe, but fraudulent invoices designed to look like real charges for services like medical alert systems, warranty renewals, or government services. Consumer fraud specialists report that seniors receive fake bills for Medicare services they didn't receive, Social Security processing fees that don't exist, or charges for updating government records. These fraudulent bills often include threatening language about consequences for non-payment, but they have no legal standing whatsoever. The key to identifying these scam bills is understanding that legitimate government agencies like Medicare and Social Security never send unsolicited bills for their services. If you receive bills claiming to be from government agencies that request payment for routine services, these are almost certainly fraudulent and should be reported to the Federal Trade Commission. Now that we've covered these 10 categories, let's talk about how to protect yourself legally and practically. Consumer protection attorneys recommend creating what they call a bill defense system, a systematic approach to reviewing and challenging questionable charges. First, keep detailed records of all your service agreements, insurance policies, and subscription confirmations. When companies try to charge you for services you didn't agree to, having documentation of your original agreements gives you powerful legal leverage. Second, review all your bills carefully each month, not just the total amount due. Look for new charges, increased fees, or services you don't recognize. Consumer advocates recommend setting aside time each month specifically for bill review, treating it as seriously as you would any other important financial task. Third, know your rights under federal consumer protection laws. The Fair Credit Billing Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and the Truth in Lending Act all provide specific protections for consumers, with additional protections often available for seniors under state laws. When you need to challenge a charge, attorneys recommend always communicating in writing and keeping copies of all correspondence. Email is acceptable for initial contact, but follow up with certified mail for important disputes. This creates a legal paper trail that can be crucial if you need to escalate your dispute. Many seniors worry about damaging their credit scores by disputing charges or refusing to pay questionable bills. Consumer credit attorneys explain that properly disputing charges under federal consumer protection laws will not harm your credit score. In fact, paying bills you don't legally owe can sometimes be seen as validation of questionable charges. If a company threatens to report non-payment to credit agencies, consumer protection laws require them to note that the charge is disputed. If they report it without noting the dispute, they're violating federal credit reporting laws, and you can seek damages. For seniors dealing with multiple financial pressures, many states offer free legal aid services specifically for older adults. These programs often include attorneys who specialize in consumer protection and can help you navigate complex billing disputes without cost. The National Consumer Law Center and AARP also Provide free resources and guidance for seniors dealing with billing issues. Don't hesitate to seek help. These resources exist specifically to protect people in your situation. Remember that companies count on seniors being too polite, too trusting, or too overwhelmed to challenge questionable charges. But politeness shouldn't cost you money, and trust should be earned through transparent business practices. You've worked hard for your money, and you have every right to ensure you're only paying for services you actually received and agreed to purchase. It's also important to understand that taking action to protect your financial interests isn't being difficult or unreasonable. It's being smart. Every dollar you save by properly challenging questionable charges is a dollar that stays in your pocket for the things that truly matter to you. The legal protections we've discussed exist because lawmakers recognize that seniors on fixed incomes are particularly vulnerable to billing, abuse, and predatory practices. Using these protections isn't just your right. It's exactly what these laws were designed to accomplish. If you're currently struggling with bills that you're not sure you should be paying, don't wait to take action. Many consumer protection laws have time limits for disputing charges, so addressing questionable bills promptly gives you the strongest legal position. Most importantly, remember that you don't have to navigate these challenges alone. Whether it's contacting customer service departments, filing complaints with regulatory agencies, or seeking help from legal aid organizations, there are resources available to help you protect your financial well-being. Your financial security matters, and you deserve to keep every dollar that you're not legally obligated to pay. By understanding your rights and taking appropriate action, you can reduce your monthly expenses while ensuring that you're only paying for services and charges that are legitimate and beneficial to you. If this information has been helpful in understanding your rights as a consumer, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content designed to protect and empower seniors. Your financial well-being is important, and knowing your rights is the first step in protecting it. Have you discovered charges on your bills that you successfully challenged? Or do you have questions about specific types of bills you're unsure about? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your insights could help other seniors who are facing similar challenges. And if you're interested in learning more about protecting your finances as you age, be sure to check out our video about Social Security benefits you might not know you're entitled to. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to protecting your hard-earned money.